go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Welcome into the Steelers Talk Live show here on a beautiful Monday evening. I am your host, Jack Sperry. That is your host, or your producer, Jeffrey Cooperstein.
Are we calling this the evening?
We are calling, well, it's 5 o'clock on the East Coast. I would say that, I think that would count as evening. Would
the front end
would
of
it
the
not?
evening.
Today is Monday, June 9th, and tomorrow, June 10th, is the start of Steelers mandatory minicamp, where, of course, new quarterback Aaron Rodgers is set to make his Steelers practice debut tomorrow afternoon, and I for one, am very, very excited to see. I mean, Aaron Rodgers with that classic rotational release with that wrist flick, throwing it to DK Metcalf, Roman Wilson, Robert Woods, Calvin Austin III, Pat Freiermuth. I cannot wait to see all the clips that surface from tomorrow's training, tomorrow's practice.
You will be glued to the Twitter.
I will. I will be refreshing and refreshing and refreshing, just waiting for those clips to come out. But today we got a bunch of great stuff coming your way on today's show. First up, the latest news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers. Albert Breer came out with an awesome article detailing the entire Rodgers saga with new information on what happened on both sides. Then we'll talk about some updated wide receiver targets after the Aaron Rodgers signing. The Steelers are looking to add another weapon to this offense. We'll go over some of the best options available. And then we'll get into our latest Madden simulation. Week 6, the Steelers are 3-2. We are saying Aaron Rodgers was injured for the first 6 weeks, just like Russell Wilson was last year, by the way. And now he will be making his Steelers debut versus the Cincinnati Bengals on Thursday Night Football.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. It's going to be a great one. Without further ado here, guys, if you guys want to get on the show, if you have a question about the Aaron Rodgers saga or anything about Rodgers in particular, if you got a take on Rodgers heading into the 2025 season that you guys want to share with the class, go ahead and donate to the show. We'll put you up on screen right next to me and Coop here, and we'll talk about whatever Steelers topic that you want. Today, we are giving away and raffling off one of these Steelers Talk hats. We got a new shipment of these that came in. And if you guys want to win one today, $5 gets you into the raffle to win the hat. We have to get to at least $50 total in donations on the show, though, in order to do the raffle. $5 gets you in the raffle, $10 gets you 3 raffle tickets, $20 gets you 10 raffle tickets, and gets you on the Steelers Talk gong right here. And then $50. We've got tortilla slaps today, so we'll rack those up. Every 50 we get today, we'll do some tortilla slaps at the end of the show. And also, if you don't want to take your chances in the raffle for the hat, and you just want to buy one, a $50 donation, we'll buy you a Steelers Talk hat today.
I can't believe after Jeremy basically abused you on last show.
Well, we're not going to have Jeremy do it again. We'll probably have like Captain Coley or someone else do it this time. But yes, Jeremy, he hits hard, definitely. $250 total today will hit the gong for the 5th straight show. If you guys want to double your raffle tickets to win the Steelers Talk hat raffle today, you can find me on Venmo at Jack-Sperry on Venmo. Disregard Cash App because right now it wants me to start a business account. They're shadow banning me on Cash App right now. So Venmo or PayPal are the two ways that you guys can send money in for double raffle tickets. And we greatly appreciate your guys' support there. We got our first super chat of the day, and it is the only Key with the nice little Raji photo on there. That is the photo of Rodgers signing his contract.
That's the official one?
That is the official team photo of Rodgers signing his contract on Saturday. He showed up. He picked up his Steelers hat. He picked up his Steelers jersey. He signed his contract. And now we are ready for mandatory minicamp to start tomorrow with Rodgers in a Steelers uniform. I cannot wait to see what that's going to look like.
I do want to give some quick shout-outs in the chat. Shout-out to Bob Locke. Shout-out Maya's World, Christian Andujar. All the real ones that are here already. Steelers Dad, the airport guy. We got almost 300 real ones in here right now.
This is why this is the best channel here at Chat Sports, baby. We got over 280 people watching on a freaking Monday, baby. So let's get into the content without further ado. Spam those me's in the chat. If you guys want to get a shout-out, we'll get to some of these shout-outs here in just one moment. We got one from $5 from Brandon Nicholson. Says, I like Jaire. but do we even need him? So we're going to talk about Jaire Alexander today, Coop, but the short answer, no. I don't think so.
Good player.
Good player, and if we would have been talking about Jaire before free agency, I would have been all over him. Pause. But you bring in Darius Slay, you promised him a starting spot. Joey Porter Jr. is obviously still in this team's plans to be a starter, and I know that Darius Slay only has one more year left before he retires, and people want to kind of like plan for the future. Number one, the Steelers have Corey Trice Jr. on the team, and this team still believes that he could be a potential CB2 candidate down the road. And then, like we've been saying all throughout the offseason, this team's focus is on this year. And also, from Jaire's point of view, why would he go to a team that already has two of their starting outside corners already in place? At the very least, he would have to compete for a starting job here in Pittsburgh when there's like at least 5 other teams in the National Football League that would guarantee him a starting spot right now. So it doesn't make sense for a Jaire to want to come here. It doesn't make sense for Pittsburgh for him to want to sign him. The Steelers are focused on getting Aaron Rodgers a weapon. That is the focus right now. That's number one. And then getting TJ Watt extended. Those are the two things that the Steelers have left on the offseason agenda here. Jaire Alexander is not going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. At least I don't think he will be.
Shout out Eclectic Divergent, Sully, Cougar,
Look at all these me's in the chat, baby. Look at all these me's.
Backpack. Shout out to everyone typing those me's in the chat. What up, Elliptic 6?
Elliptic 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6er. 10, 9, 8, elliptic 6er. 6er, 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 6er. It's good to see you, man. All right, first up on today's show, the latest news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers. Got a loaded show for you here on a Monday. Then we got the updated Steelers wide receiver targets list that I have put together for you guys today. And then we'll get into our latest Madden simulation, Thursday Night Football versus the Cincinnati Bengals and Aaron Rodgers' Steelers debut. It's all coming up later in today's show, but for now, let's get into the news. New details have emerged on the Aaron Rodgers saga and how the 4-time NFL MVP ended up landing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll be breaking that down at the top of today's show. Then I'm going to explain to you guys why Jaire Alexander will not be a Pittsburgh Steeler in 2025. And then we'll get into the latest Steelers wide receiver buzz at the end of today's show, so make sure you guys stick around for some new wide receiver targets for your Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, new details did emerge on the Rodgers saga from Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer this morning, and he had some very interesting insights into what the Steelers were thinking, why the Steelers waited so long, why they felt so comfortable waiting for Rodgers, and why they feel like Rodgers elevates the quarterback room heading into the 2025 season. Let's start with this from Breer. Rodgers' name first arose as the Steelers went through initial end-of-season evaluations. Pittsburgh was moving on from Russell Wilson. The Steelers did want to keep working with Justin Fields, but knew if another team was willing to make him the guy, they'd have a hard time keeping him. So in other words, when it came to the Justin Fields thing, guys, the Steelers were willing to give him pretty much a backup level contract. And what their plan was, if Fields wanted to take that contract, they would have brought in another veteran quarterback to compete with Fields for the starting quarterback position. Hell, it might have been Rodgers as well. But Pittsburgh was not going to guarantee Fields the job, and they didn't feel like he was ready to be handed the starting position. They didn't feel like he was a bona fide franchise quarterback yet, and they didn't want to pay him like that. So when the Jets said, we'll pay you $20 million to be our franchise quarterback, and we'll guarantee you our starting position, obviously, Fields was going to go to New York, and honestly, if you're not willing to, pay $20 million for a quarterback, guys, the Steelers didn't really believe in Justin Fields either. So, moving on here, the Steelers touched base with the Rams on Stafford, but never believed Stafford would sign off on leaving L.A. Meanwhile, they stayed in touch with Fields' camp as the Jets came with an offer of $20 million per season and the promise of being their undisputed starter, which was important to Fields. By then, the Steelers were in discussions with Rodgers. So essentially, by the time that the Fields negotiations were happening, the Steelers had already moved on to Aaron Rodgers at that point. So essentially what they did was that they kicked the tires on Matthew Stafford, kind of got the sense that Stafford didn't want to leave LA, and then after that, they shifted their focus to Aaron Rodgers, especially when Justin Fields wasn't going to take their lowball offer. Breer also says this: their study of Rodgers showed a little more than even they expected. early in the 2024 season. The Achilles and a hamstring injury to follow clearly hampered him. But as time wore on, even with the Jets struggling, the Steelers saw Rodgers returning to form. And as you guys can see last year, Aaron Rodgers' numbers, very similar, the 2024 stats to his 2022 stats with Green Bay. And, people will look at the numbers here and, ever since his MVP season back in 2021, the numbers just haven't been the same in the last 3 seasons. But he's also dealt with injuries over these last 3 seasons. Back in 2022, in the London game versus the New York Football Giants, he broke his thumb on his throwing hand and continued to play on it, leading to some, lackluster weeks and I think a 5-game losing streak during that 2022 season while Rodgers was recovering. They ended up winning 4 of their final 5 games, and Rodgers nearly willed that Green Bay Packer team without Davante Adams, by the way, to a playoff victory. Then in 2023, of course, he tore his Achilles and he only played 4 snaps. And then in 2024, not only was he recovering from that same Achilles tear, but he also had a hamstring injury that he was dealing with. Plus, there was a ton of team instability. They had no run game. They didn't have, the coaching staff was completely shifting. They changed head coaches and offensive coordinators during the season. And the defense, guys, that Jets defense, a lot of people think it's pretty good. It was bottom 10 in the National Football League last year by most metrics. So listen, man, we haven't seen a healthy Aaron Rodgers play in the National Football League since 2021. Now, listen, I know that the devil's advocates are going to be saying, oh, well, it's been 3 straight seasons where he hasn't been healthy, so he's injury prone. And that, 41 years old, he is getting older. He is more injury prone at this point in his career. But if Rodgers can stay healthy in Pittsburgh, I think he has a chance to be pretty darn good. And it seems like the Steelers agree with me on that because Breer says here the Steelers were willing to wait, knowing what the payoff would be. Neither side was moved much at all by the speculation, hysteria, and projection that resulted from the situation. Rodgers would call Tomlin and Smith every now and again, which colors why the Steelers were never really concerned that Rodgers would back out on them. So in other words here, guys, the Steelers knew Rodgers was coming. Rodgers gave them every single indication that he was going to be signing with the team. So even though the fan base was freaking out and saying, we don't want your ass and all this different stuff, give up on him, all this different stuff, the Steelers were like, Rodgers is our guy, and he's giving us every indication that he's going to sign with this football team, so we're going to stand pat, and that patience was rewarded with a contract that was signed by Rodgers last week. So Breer continues here with the reasons why the Steelers were willing to wait. One thing that helped with what was Smith's relationship with 2 of Rodgers' 3 most recent play callers, Matt LaFleur in Green Bay and Todd Downing in New York. Both were Titans staff mates of Smith's, and their assessments of Rodgers as a football brilliant quarterback matched up. So listen, man, I think that Rodgers and Smith are going to be a good pairing. Rodgers talked about their renewed friendship on the Pat McAfee show earlier this offseason. And, Smith does run not exactly the same offense as Matt LaFleur does in Green Bay, but something very similar where it's a lot of play action, a lot of under center, really prioritizes throwing the ball over the middle of the field. And, of course, the last time we saw a healthy Aaron Rodgers in that type of offense, he was winning league MVPs. Not to say he's going to do that in Pittsburgh, but that was kind of the offense where he had the most success most recently. So I do think this is a good pairing. Breer also says this, the fact that so much of this stayed quiet, in fact, a testament to the trust that the Steelers and Rodgers built over a short time. And now on Tuesday, it'll be unveiled for everyone to see. So the fact that, Rodgers and the Steelers were able to keep a lot of this under wraps certainly shows the trust that this team and this quarterback have in each other. And it certainly is showing a good start to this relationship. And listen, man, you can disagree with the Steelers' decision to go with Aaron Rodgers and to make him kind of their guy for this season, but you can't deny, after the Matthew Stafford situation wasn't going to end with him wearing a Steelers uniform, they identified their guy early on, and it was Aaron Rodgers, and they were willing to be patient to get their guy in the building and be their starting quarterback. And listen, man, if you get pretty much your number 1 quarterback target on the free agency market, especially for the contract that you got him for, just $10 million guaranteed, about $14 million total in salary, and then up to around $20 million with incentives. Like, that is a hell of a steal for a starting quarterback. That is a top 10 QB in NFL history. I think the Steelers definitely feel like this is a success. So fill in the blank for me down there in the comments section. Aaron Rodgers is a top blank quarterback in the NFL right now. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. This will be in just a second here. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time. But let me know where you think Rodgers ranks among NFL signal callers. Another kind of tidbit to watch out for tomorrow when the pictures and the videos get released of Rodgers throwing to his Steelers teammates for the first time at Steelers mandatory minicamp. He will be wearing a new helmet. His previous helmet model, the Schutt Air Pro XP11, whatever it's called, is now banned by the National Football League. So he's got pretty much two options. The first one being the Schutt F7, formerly worn by Josh Dobbs, was the last Steelers quarterback to wear this type of helmet. It's usually not one worn by quarterbacks, but there are certain quarterbacks that wear this. Drake May wears this model. Andy Dalton wears this model. But if he wants to wear a Schutt, this is the one that he's pretty much going to have to wear. It's the only Schutt helmet currently in circulation that's legal and is used by current NFL quarterbacks. And then there's the Vices 02, which was worn by Russell Wilson. It's also worn by other top quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes. Aaron Rodgers invested in the Vices company a couple years back. He even wore a Vices helmet in a State Farm commercial a couple of years ago. So expect to see him either in that Vices tomorrow or in the Schutt. He did say on the McAfee show that earlier this offseason, though, that if he can wear a Schutt, he's going to wear a Schutt. So that is probably my guess heading into tomorrow. Now, still to come here on Steelers Talk on today's edition of News and Rumors. Why I think the Steelers will not sign Jaire Alexander, and then we got the latest Steelers wide receiver buzz to go over. But hey, before we get into that, if you want your Aaron Rodgers jersey today, they're officially available from our friends at Fanatics. Just go to chatsports.com/AR8. That is our special link. If you click that link, I'm putting that in the comments and description of today's show. You click that link and you make a purchase. Fanatics sends us part of the proceeds. So if you're excited about the Rodgers era here in Pittsburgh and you want to get an Aaron Rodgers jersey today, you can go chatsports.com/AR8 to get it done. So now let's talk about Jaire Alexander, because the Green Bay Packers released Alexander earlier today, and now there's a lot of teams and a lot of fan bases around the league discussing whether or not their teams should consider bringing him on in NFL free agency, because he's now an open free agent. And Alexander, when he's on the field, is one of the best corners in the National Football League. The problem is he's always hurt and he barely stays on the field. But if you're a team that is in desperate need of a legit number one corner, Alexander absolutely provides that for you if you are able to sign him. But I'm going to tell you guys this right now. Pittsburgh is not going to make a play for Jaire Alexander. Now, I know some people want the team to because they don't believe in Joey Porter Jr. or they don't believe in Darius Slay, or they want to get more depth for the future at this position. But plain and simply, guys, Pittsburgh already has their two starting outside cornerbacks, and I don't think Alexander wants to go to a team where he has to compete for a starting job. He wants guarantees, and I don't think the Steelers would be willing to just straight up bench Darius Slay, who they brought in free agency on the promise he'd be a starter, or Joey Porter Jr., who Mike Tomlin still clearly believes in as a third-year player coming in. Also, Jaire likely wants to get paid a big contract. It's one of the reasons why a restructure and a reworking of his contract in Green Bay didn't work, is because they wanted him to take less money and he wasn't willing to do it. The Steelers really, I think they're trying to save their money for a wide receiver acquisition. And then also Pittsburgh's top two priorities this offseason are to get that TJ Watt extension done and then to get another offensive weapon for Aaron Rodgers in the Steelers offense. Getting another corner is definitely not on their list of priorities at the moment. And my biggest takeaway from the whole of Jaire Alexander news situation today, actually, is that if Green Bay's willing to part ways with Jaire Alexander, their bona fide number one corner on their roster, they're probably willing to, at least listen to trade offers for their wide receiver 4 or number 5 receiver as well. You take a look at their wide receiver room right now. They just drafted Matthew Golden in the first round out of Texas. He's probably their future number 1 guy. Jaden Reed, somebody they really believe in. He's their number 2. Christian Watson's dealing with an injury right now. Might be out several weeks to start the season, but when he's back, he will be their number 3. But then you got Romeo Doubs and Dontavian Wicks as those 4 and 5 guys, and Savion Williams, McCole Hardman, and Bo Melton kind of round out their depth. But last year, Romeo Doubs complained to the Green Bay Packers and even missed practices. He got suspended last year for missing practices because he was frustrated with the lack of targets he was getting in the Packers offense, and they've only added to the wide receiver room now. So That seems like, kind of a bomb waiting to go off there in Green Bay. And, the Steelers would be giving him plenty of opportunities to work with a former quarterback that he's worked with before in Aaron Rodgers, who he had a really good chemistry with in his rookie season back in 2022. And he shouldn't be that expensive for the Steelers to acquire either. Plus, he's only 25 years old. So Dobbs is an excellent trade option for the Steelers. But then if, let's say, they want Dobbs and they don't want to get rid of him, Dontavian Wicks is a really good run blocker, physical wide receiver that runs really good routes, has a little bit of a ball skills issue and a drop issue, but I would probably rather have Dobbs because I think he's got better hands and he has the connection with Rodgers. Wicks does not. But those are the two guys that I would definitely be looking at. And then another team to watch via a wide receiver trade, in my opinion, that we haven't really talked about on the show is the Carolina Panthers, all right? Because this is another wide receiver room that is starting to fill up with young talent. Not only did they draft Tedorora McMillan in the first round this year, but they also drafted Xavier Legette and Jalen Coker last year. And then you got Jimmy Horn Jr. and Kobe Hudson, who they drafted this year. And then they bring in Hunter Renfrow, another slot wide receiver. So guys like Adam Thielen, Jalen Coker, and maybe even Xavier Legette could all be potentially gettable on the trade market. Thielen is somebody the Steelers were really interested in towards the trade deadline last year. He's somebody that's not the best athlete. He honestly never was, but he's a really crafty route runner with excellent hands, can play both inside and out, even though he's known more as a slot specialist. Jalen Coker is kind of an Adam Thielen clone, only younger, in my opinion. Then Xavier Legette is more of a DK Metcalf type, so honestly, he wouldn't be my preferred option if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers. But he is somebody that's very physically gifted. Personally, I continue to like the Amari Cooper fit. We're going to continue to talk about different possibilities on this show, but Aaron Rodgers typically likes a bigger route-running wide receivers. Just look at Devontae Adams, who was his number one favorite target of all time, a bigger route runner type of receiver. And also, Rodgers has been a big fan of Amari Cooper his entire career. He said on the Pat McAfee show back in 2023, quote, "I've always been a big fan of Cooper's." And, if you're trying to make Aaron Rodgers happy, I think that you want to get him a route runner, a veteran, kind of savvy route runner type of guy like Amari Cooper. Cooper's no longer a number one wide receiver, but the Steelers wouldn't be asking him to be that. All right, you got DK Metcalf as your number one weapon. I think Cooper's skill set as a route runner would be very, very complementary to DK in this offense, and I think that he is the type of big route running threat that Aaron Rodgers typically likes to throw to in the offense. So I think that Amari Cooper would probably be my preferred option at this point. So who's your guy? Let me know down there in the comments section. Which weapon or weapons are you hoping the Steelers land this offseason? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. I greatly appreciate all of your guys' support. Again, tomorrow we're going to have extensive mandatory minicamp coverage for Aaron Rodgers' first day as a Steeler officially. Going to practice, all that different stuff. We'll have all the photos, all the analysis, all that stuff for you guys tomorrow. So click that subscribe button to never miss a moment. Oh, yeah, baby. We got some super chats rolling in. We got, how do you say this one? Fluven?
I'm going to go Fluven.
Fluven with a 10. Appreciate you, Fluven. That's 3 raffle tickets to win the Steelers Talk hat. We got Robert Locke with a 5, and he says, "Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go." The only key. Coming in with a $5 super chat. This is the second super chat of the day, so shout out to the only key. Says, "Hey, Jack and Coop, question. We know they are adding a wide receiver, and ones they do are the ones the Steelers finish signing players, or are they missing a key position?" So I think he's asking, we all know they're adding a receiver, but after they add a receiver, are they going to add anybody else? Is there any more holes that they need to figure out on the roster? It's actually a really good question. And I think the answer to the question is no, I don't. I think that once you get another receiver, especially if it's like an Amari Cooper type of receiver, you're pretty much good. I think your tight ends are fine heading into the year.
I was going to mention that as a potential area of improvement.
Now, with Donald Parham going down with an Achilles tear, I think the Steelers will probably add another kind of depth tight end. So we'll see what they end up doing there. Watch out,
Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, we'll see if it's Jonnu, but
that'd be cool.
Yeah, but you got to pay him and Muth, which means you'd have to keep them both on the field at like all times, which I'm open to, but I would rather get another receiver. That's just my personal preference, but I could gas up Jonnu Smith if I needed to.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me, Coop.
You could copium it.
I could copium it for
Although
sure.
I think Jonnu's a good player, though.
I think he's a really good
Yeah.
player. He's the top 5 tight end in the game last year. So, I mean, there's worse things the Steelers could. They could get Kyle Pitts for a second-round pick who fucking stinks. That would be the worst That's the worst case scenario
Kyle
for me.
Pitts could be a dog.
He is terrible.
Could be a dog.
No, but he stinks. People have been saying he could be a dog for 5 years.
Had 1,000 yards his rookie year.
And then hasn't done it since.
Maybe it's because
despite them force-feeding him the football.
Maybe it's because he's in a toxic environment.
Oh, yeah, with 2 different head coaches.
And a quarterback who was unhappy.
Was he unhappy last year?
Kirk?
No. When he was playing?
He was definitely unhappy the second they drafted Michael Thomas.
That is a crazy take to me.
That Kirk Cousins wasn't unhappy?
Well, that's beside the point. How would that affect Kyle Pitts' play? It wouldn't. If anything,
bad QB play wouldn't affect a tight end
If
play.
anything, Kirk Cousins is pissed off and trying to prove people wrong, and he plays better because of that.
Well, he didn't.
Yeah, exactly. He did because Kyle Pitts stinks.
No, it's because
it's because Kyle. I know you're a Gator guy, Coop.
Do you not think Kirk Cousins was cheeks last year?
Towards the end of the year, he was. But Kyle Pitts wasn't producing when he was playing well last year.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Goodness gracious, Coop. All right, coming up next, we got the latest wide receiver targets. You guys can send in your donations to not Cash App. Just X out the Cash App because I'm getting shadow banned. But you guys can send in your Venmos at Jack-Sperry or at Captain Jack Rabbit on PayPal to double your raffle tickets for the Steelers Talk hat today. Here's our donation menu. $5 gets you into the raffle. $10 gets you 3 raffle tickets. $20 gets your name on the gong, plus 10 tickets. $50, you can just straight up buy a hat from us for $50. Plus, we'll get a tortilla slap going for you guys. And then if we can get to $250 total today, we will hit the gong. Right now, we're at $27, so we're a little over halfway to locking in the raffle. We still need $23 more to lock in the raffle today. No, for a second rounder?
Oh God, no.
Because that's what they're asking for him.
I would give a 6.
Well, I would think about giving a 7th for him. But
give me Pitsy.
I don't like Pitts. Pitts is doo-doo garbage baby. He stinks.
I think he's better than Darnell Washington.
As a receiver, he is.
I think he's better than Connor Hayward.
He's better than Connor Hayward.
So he'd be the second best tight end on the Steelers roster.
He also wants to get paid a new contract this offseason, which is why Atlanta's probably shopping him.
That might be true.
And
as well.
I'm not paying Kyle Pitts. I'm not.
You're gonna give him $5 million a year.
It's probably what he's making right now. First round pick. Yeah, I'm not doing that. All right, let's get into the next segment here, which is my latest wide receiver targets here after the Aaron Rodgers signing. Now that Aaron Rodgers is officially a Pittsburgh Steeler, it's time to go get him another weapon alongside DK Metcalf heading into the 2025 season. The Steelers have made it abundantly clear that they are looking for another offensive playmaker to pair with Rodgers and Metcalf. Today, we're going to be talking about the latest wide receiver targets and rumors, all these different things. I'm going to be letting you guys know the top-tier guys that could be gettable for the Steelers, some more realistic options, and then some of the less desirable options, at least in my opinion. Make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. If you guys want to get another receiver to add to the likes of DK Metcalf, Robert Woods, Calvin Austin III, and Roman Wilson here in the Steelers offense heading into the 2025 season. So before we get into kind of the targets here and their pros and cons and all this different stuff, let's talk about what the Steelers have right now. Because right now, I would expect them to have a 4-man rotation if they don't make any more moves. That would be DK Metcalf. Robert Woods would be coming in for early down work as a run blocker and as a possession wide receiver. And then Calvin Austin III would be more of your pass-heavy downs type of guy. Can't run block, but is dynamic as a receiving threat with his route running ability, his yak ability, his vertical play ability. I think he's one of the more underrated receivers in the game. And then Roman Wilson as your slot specialist. After that, you got Ben Skoranek, who's a blocker and a special teamer, Scotty Miller, Brandon Johnson. Not a whole lot to write home about after these 4 guys. And I think what Pittsburgh needs is essentially somebody to take Robert Woods' role in this offense, at least to this point, which is the early down work kind of guy. Somebody that's a bigger wide receiver, somebody who can run block, somebody that, in my opinion, this is another really important piece to this. he's got to be a good route runner because DK Metcalf has a little bit of a limited route tree. And I think especially with a guy like Aaron Rodgers who likes to change plays at the line of scrimmage, do hot routes, have these little hand signals, he needs somebody with a very diverse route tree out there that can be out there pretty much every single play so that he can do these audibles and, pretty much tell the receiver what to run, and then they're going to do it. So he needs a veteran route runner out there as well. So tier 1 is, get them if you can. These are guys that I probably don't think are going to get traded by their respective teams, but if they're available, the Steelers should absolutely be in on trading for these players. All right, Terry McLaurin is the popular one in this tier among Steelers fans. And listen, if the Commanders are willing to come to the table, cough, cough, they won't be. But if they are, absolutely, the Steelers should be willing to give up a pretty high draft pick to go out and get Terry McLaurin. I'm not giving up a first rounder, but I'd be willing to give up as much as a second round pick to get Terry McLaurin. Chris Olave from the Saints. Once again, I don't expect the Saints to trade him away, but the Steelers have called about him, and he would be an excellent route runner to pair with DK Metcalf. And then a couple of Colts wide receivers. Now, I don't know if the Colts are going to be willing to come to the table. They do have Adonai Mitchell, who they believe in, but he does have some off-the-field concerns. Alec Pierce is an awesome deep threat and a big body, and Michael Pittman Jr. is a really good possession receiver. It's a really good short to intermediate route runner that you can consider if you want to make a move there. But honestly, guys, if I'm being honest, I don't think any of those teams are going to be willing to deal any of those wide receivers. So let's get to the more realistic options. Guys that I think could absolutely be gettable for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll start with Romeo Doubs from the Green Bay Packers. I think he's probably the most likely trade candidate for the Pittsburgh Steelers because there's a lot of things to like about him. He's only 25 years old. He's a good run blocker, and he's played in a system that requires him to run block with Matt LaFleur there at the Green Bay Packers. He's got a big body. He's got incredibly quick feet. He runs really good routes. People early on in his career have even called him a light version of Davante Adams. He's not Davante Adams because he doesn't have the same ball skills, but he moves very similarly at a very similar type of size. And of course, he had that 1 year with Aaron Rodgers in his rookie season back in 2022. So he has the experience with the new Steelers quarterback. So if you can get him for a decent price, I'd be all in on Romeo Doubs. But there's a couple free agent options here that are veterans. Amari Cooper, formerly with the Cleveland Browns and Buffalo Bills last year, and then Keenan Allen, the 33-year-old, formerly with the Chicago Bears. I think both of these guys, when you watch them on film, still very, very capable route running, bigger type of receivers. Both of them can play either in the slot or outside. Obviously, Allen known more for the slot, but they can both play outside if needed. And I think that if you can add either one of these guys, Aaron Rodgers would love to play with the savvy veterans and the presence that they bring to their offenses. Then Jalen McMillan is another younger receiver that I would love to trade for if I were the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I don't know if the Buccaneers are going to be willing to trade McMillan away. He had a really good rookie season, but they did bring in Emeka Egbuka in round 1 this year, and they also drafted Tez Johnson out of Oregon this year as well. And that's already, adding to the guys they already have. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Trey Palmer, who we'll talk about here in a little bit. So if they were open to giving up Jalen McMillan, I would be in on him. And then, I would prefer Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen to Adam Thielen as kind of the older guys on this list. But Thielen is still somebody that can play outside, even though he spends most of the time there in Carolina in the slot. He runs really crafty routes. He's got incredible ball skills still. And even at age 34, I think he can help the Steelers. Plus, the Steelers were interested in him at the trade deadline last year. So for the right price, I think the Steelers would once again be in on a trade for Thielen. Now we can move on to tier 3. And these are the guys that, in my opinion, are not ideal. Maybe these guys are not established number 2 receivers in the league, but, they're fine. All right. I think that they're guys that can be serviceable and guys with some upside that I would be cool with getting if I were the Pittsburgh Steelers. But before I reveal the tier 3 guys, if you're enjoying yourself here on today's edition of Steelers Talk, click that thumbs up icon for a free and easy way to help us out. The more people that like this video, the more YouTube is going to push this in their algorithm to more Steelers fans like yourselves. It really does help us grow, guys. So if you want to help us out today, click that thumbs up icon. It's free to do so. Let me get to my tier 3 wide receiver targets. Dontavian Wicks, somebody that's a good route runner, good run blocker. He's going to bring a level of physicality to the Steelers if they trade for him. But he has a little bit of a ball skills issue and a drop issue. Trey Palmer, for his size, on 190 pounds, is one of the fastest players in the National Football League. He's a yak threat and a vertical threat because of that. Decent route runner. He really does try as a run blocker as well, so that's something Arthur Smith would appreciate. And apparently, according to Zachary Smith from Steelers Now, the Steelers have inquired about Trey Palmer, so keep your eye on him. Also, John Mechie is another guy where he hasn't exactly broken out yet, but I think he fits what the Steelers are looking for. Good route runner, good run blocker. I think he would be very solid. Jalen Coker for the Carolina Panthers. Good route runner, crafty route runner with good hands, good size as well. Alan Lazard, he stinks, but he has chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. For a 7th-round pick, I guess I wouldn't mind that one necessarily. And then Gabe Davis, he certainly has the speed and the size and to be frank, the production. He's had some pretty big seasons there with the Buffalo Bills, but last year coming off an injury and not very good on the field once you took away Josh Allen. Steelers brought him in for a visit, so keep your eye on him, but he also has a visit with the New Orleans Saints this week. And then there's also been reports about the Steelers' interest in a couple tight ends. Jonnu Smith from the Miami Dolphins, Pro Bowl player last year, and then Kyle Pitts, the former top 5 pick from the Florida Gators with the Atlanta Falcons. By the way, Arthur Smith drafted Kyle Pitts when he was with Atlanta. But here's the thing, guys. I don't think Pittsburgh goes for the tight end. Now, even though they are trying to add, a weapon of some kind, and they are open to the idea of it being a tight end, I don't think it's going to be a tight end. And the reason for that is because Jonnu Smith, I think, will be too expensive, and then Kyle Pitts just isn't good enough and will be too expensive. Like, apparently the Falcons are asking for a day 2 pick for Kyle Pitts, and his numbers and his tape last year just don't warrant that, in my opinion, especially somebody that is getting a little bit older and is getting towards the end of his rookie contract here. If they do trade for a tight end, though, I do hope it's Jonnu Smith. So who's your guy? Let me know down there in the comment section. Which weapon or weapons are you hoping the Steelers land this offseason? For me, I would love to trade for Romeo Doubs or sign Amari Cooper or Keenan Allen. Those would be my top 3 at this point in time. And, of course, if you can get Terry McLaurin, Chris Olave, Alec Pierce, or Michael Pittman Jr., I don't think you can. But if you do, then absolutely go get one of those guys. But more realistically, Doubs, Cooper, Allen are my 3 guys. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. We got more Steelers content coming your way. We'll also keep you updated with the latest Steelers wide receiver rumors as their search for their next wide receiver 2 continues. So make sure you click that subscribe button and join the Steelers Talk family today. All right, we got some more super chats to get to here. CJ Ross with a 2 says, did you ever get my email for the hat? Go Steelers. Yes, we did, CJ. It is on its way. Appreciate you for the 2 there, Mr. CJ.
Give me Pitsy, give me Raji, give me DeCussy, and give me Robbie.
Robbie? Where are you getting Robbie? What? Oh, Robbie. What about a receiver? Are you going to get a receiver? Or are you just trading for Pitts and calling it good?
Flex him out.
He would be the next Allen Robinson.
Flex Pitts out wide.
Kyle Pitts would be the next Allen Robinson.
I think that's disrespectful.
Why?
Because Pitts is younger and more athletic.
Well, he stinks.
Maybe he won't.
He ranked 41st out of 43 in tight end separation last year.
Maybe he won't stink with bad coaching.
Bad coaching. Give me a break.
With good coaching, maybe he won't stink.
Oh, yeah, because he couldn't. So the same coach is here in Pittsburgh.
What about last year?
Oh, my God. You are incredible.
What about last year?
An absolute Kyle Pitts apologist. He got worse with outside of Arthur Smith.
Exactly.
Oh my
so
God.
you bring him back and he improves.
Yeah, but it's not going to be good. It wasn't good enough under Art either.
Kyle Pitts.
Like I said,
get it.
7th-round pick, no new contract, fine. Anything more than that, you're overpaying for Kyle Pitts. I'm sorry. $20 from Taco Man says, I'd sign Amari Cooper and trade Cole Holcomb and a pick to the Bengals for 6'6" Mike Gesicki. Well,
the Bengals also wouldn't trade with us, first of all.
Yeah, it's an in-division trade. Plus, they love Gesicki. Taco Man, you always bring us the most interesting ideas, but
I don't hate the idea.
First of all, the Bengals are not going to trade Mike Gesicki, period, let alone to the Steelers. They love him. Second of all, the Steelers aren't going to trade Cole Holcomb, okay? Because the way it works in the National Football League is that you rotate interior linebackers. You have at least 3 guys in a rotation, and Cole Holcomb, they just re-signed Cole Holcomb. Why would they want to trade him? That's not something that they want to do.
And they like his presence in the locker room.
Yeah, and they like his presence in the locker room too. So I think they would rather sign like a Gerald Everett in free agency than make this trade. But interesting idea. I definitely agree with the Amari Cooper thing. I think he's a perfect fit for Aaron Rodgers' play style. $5 from CJ Ross says, Raji, I'm really hoping for Amari Cooper at wide receiver too. Me too, man. Coop, this is the type of receiver that Rodgers works well with. And
absolutely.
People have pointed out that DK Metcalf is kind of a receiver that Rodgers hasn't really worked with as a number one before, and that's true. Now, he did have some good years with Christian Watson, who's kind of a similar type of receiver to DK Metcalf. He's not as big or as good as DK, but similar skill set. So I absolutely believe Rodgers and DK will work out well, but I do think there's something to be said that he's a little bit limited as a route runner, and Amari Cooper is not. He's got some of the quickest feet, some of the best route running in football.
Crisp route runner.
His drop rate got a lot better in Buffalo last year, and I think as a number 2 receiver here in Pittsburgh, Amari Cooper, with Aaron Rodgers throwing him the football, with Cooper's ability to get open and then Rodgers' ability to put it on him, I think that would be a really good combination right there. And I think that, that's the move that I would want to make, because you're not giving up a draft pick for him. You're going to sign him to a 1-year deal that's probably team friendly. Like, Amari Cooper might take a discount to play with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking too, CJ Ross. All right.
I also think Amari Cooper as well, in addition to being, I think, a good option for the Steelers offense, he's also going to be relatively affordable.
Yeah, because, I think you'd take a discount to have a chance to play with Rodgers.
Well, yeah, what 7-10 million?
Yeah, not much. It'd be less than 10, I think.
Yeah.
Now, for another team that stinks, he might say, well, I'm not going to win a championship, so you have to pay me.
Exactly.
But for a team like the Steelers, I think he'd be willing to take less, even if it means he's a number 2 receiver instead of a number 1, to play with Rodgers and DK Metcalf for a chance to win a title. By the way, Mike Tomlin has a lot of respect for Amari Cooper.
Yes, he does.
As somebody that's listened to a lot of press conferences, the week of a Browns game, he has mentioned Mr. Chubb, who's going to the Texans, and Mr. Cooper quite a bit during those press conferences.
And by the way, we have reached over $50, so we will be doing our hat raffle at the end of the show, so stay tuned. Chris, we'll get to your super chat here in just a moment.
Chris, we'll get to your super chat in just a moment. We're going to get into our Madden simulation here for Week 7 versus the Bengals here. Just a recap here, without Rodgers, the first 5 weeks we didn't have Rodgers, or first 5 games, I should say, no Rodgers. It was a combination of Will Howard the first 3 games with Mason Rudolph on weeks 4 and 6. But the Steelers are 3-2. They're coming off a 2-game win streak, beat the Vikings in Dublin in overtime, and then beat the Cleveland Browns handily at home in week 6. And now we go into week 7. Just so you guys know, we are going to be going live and doing these Madden Sims every Monday and Thursday this year. So I see we have over 500 people watching live. If you guys want these Madden Sims and these live shows every Monday and Thursday, click that subscribe button, join our family. We really do appreciate your guys' support. And once we make it to the playoffs, we'll extend this thing as far as it needs to go. So Chris, $5 super chat says, hypothetical, if the Steelers signed Isaiah Bond, not going to happen, fill our number 2 spot, do you think he would make this offense special? Legal issues pending, that is. No.
If the legal issues were non-existent, Isaiah Bond would have been a 3rd-round pick. Maybe 4th.
Yeah,
but regardless.
Mid-round pick. He's very fast. He reminds me of Jalen Waddle in terms of his overall acceleration and speed, but he doesn't really run great routes. He's not particularly great after the catch for somebody as fast as he is. He doesn't have great instincts as a rusher, and he doesn't have good ball skills. So I honestly don't think he would be the number 2 receiver if you signed him. He would be – Calvin Austin III is a better player than Isaiah Bond, in my opinion, right now.
Oh, I would absolutely agree.
Bond's ceiling is higher, don't get me wrong, but they're both undersized speedsters, but Calvin's actually a refined route runner, and I think his ball skills are better than Bond's are. So, yeah, Bond's in big trouble. It's not going to happen.
Bond may never play a snap in the NFL.
And we already have someone to play the role Bond would have played here in kind of the undersized deep threat. That's Calvin Austin III, and he's damn good at it. So, yeah. Let's get into Raji's debut here on the Summer Madden Series. It is Thursday night football. There he is, Aaron Rodgers in the number 8. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Aaron Rodgers leads the Steelers out onto Paycor Stadium's field, and they're going to be going up against Joey Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals wearing their all whites. Steelers wearing the color rushes with the yellow helmets. Coop, just so you guys know, I'm not in charge of the uniforms. All right, Coop is in charge of the uniforms, and he loves using the yellow helmets. All right,
the yellow helmets look good, man.
What's that?
Yellow helmets look good.
Yellow helmets, I guess they look fine. They do kind of look fire with the
exactly
with the color rushes. But the Steelers will get the football first here, folks. Everybody spam those PITs in the chat. Aaron Rodgers getting the football first in Cincinnati. Let's go, and we are underway in the jungle. Is fielded at the 6 by Cordero Patterson, and he is going to take it all the way. There we go. Good return to the 36-yard line. And here comes Aaron Rodgers, the 4-time NFL MVP. We're going to say he was injured the first 6 weeks of the year, similar to how Russell Wilson was injured the first 6 weeks of the year last year. And he takes the field for the first time here in our Summer Madden Series. For those of you that are wondering, Rodgers is a 77 overall in Madden with the adjusted rosters. Handoff, gain of 2, Jalen Warren on the first play for Aaron Rodgers' 2025 campaign. Let's go, baby.
What does Raji got for us?
See what Raji's got. Gonna go shotgun. Condensed formation, 3 wide receivers, 1 back. It's Warren to Rodgers' left. Rodgers will take the snap. He will hand it off again to Jalen Warren. He gets blown up. It looks like Cam Taylor-Britt. No gain. And it's going to be 3rd down and 8. Need Raji to deliver on a 3rd and long. Need Raji to deliver on a 3rd and long for us. This is why you sign him. Make a big throw every once in a while. They go 13 personnel. This is a classic Arthur Smith play right here.
9-step
Rodgers
drop.
has time, and he's going to take off and get sacked.
Trey Hendrickson.
I mean, nobody was open. You're putting out 3 tight ends on a 3rd and 8.
That's Arthur Smith, baby.
What are we doing? Trey Hendrickson, still on this team, by the way, gets the sack. So Steelers go 3 and out to start the game. Not a great start for Rodgers. But remember, it wasn't a great start for Russ in his first game. It was, ironically, that first game was against the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. So here we go. The punt is away from Cameron Johnston. It's going to be fielded and fair caught at the 19. And here comes Joe Burrow. Quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. Nearly willed them to a playoff berth last year after a terrible start to their campaign. Shotgun here for Burrow. It's like 1 receiver here as they go out empty, as they shift out Chase Brown. Takes the snap. Burrow's looking. He's going to throw quickly. It is complete to Mike Gesicki. 1st down, Bengals.
Oh, Gesicki and
looks like Peyton Wilson shoving after the play. No flag, of course.
Why would there be? They walked to the stadium. They were staying at the Chat Sports office in Cincinnati.
Having some Skyline chili before the game.
Yep. They went and saw Tom Downey.
Here we go. Steelers showing pressure here on 1st down. Burrow in the shotgun. He takes the snap. He throws middle. How is that caught?
No way.
What a catch by Mike Gesicki, and another 1st down for the Bengals.
Would you ever eat Skyline chili?
No,
I don't think I would either.
Skyline sucks. Brandon Eccles on the coverage, by the way.
Good question from Shaq. We'll ask after this play.
Shotgun here for Burrow. Hands it off to Brown. Gets a gain of 3. That's Cam Hayward on the tackle. By the way, we have a picture of Aaron Rodgers at Cam Hayward's golf event where he took a picture with a ton of his new teammates. That's awesome to see, man. Rodgers is in the same golf cart as DK Metcalf.
Love that.
So here we go. Burrow, shotgun, takes the snap. He's looking. Now he's rolling to his right, and he's going to look to run. And TJ Watt almost blew him up, but he slides down. It'll be 3rd down and 5. We need to get him off the field here, folks. Type those stops in the chat. Come on.
Shaq asked, why hasn't Cordero Patterson been cut?
Cordero Patterson has not been cut. I don't know, because Tomlin likes him. He likes his special teams. And so does Arthur Smith. So he's a backup running back. We'll see what happens. Here's a quick throw from, oh my goodness, wide open Gesicki. No, not Gesicki. 1st down for the Bengals on a that's Yoshivas. The big receiver gets the 1st down and a big 3rd down conversion for Joe Burrow. Threw that with a little anticipation there.
And he's also wide open.
I mean, goodness gracious, man.
What a joke.
1st down and 10.
Tomlin doesn't like that one.
Tomlin doesn't like that. Now Burrow has his X Factor activated. This is not good for the Steelers offense, folks. Takes the snap from shotgun, throws quickly, hits his guy right in the chest, and he drops it. He wasn't expecting it.
Was that Yoshi again?
I think that was Gesicki that time. Hits Gesicki right in the chest. Perfect throw by Burrow. Doesn't catch it. Sean Culbertson is asking, do you have DK and Rodgers on the team? I do. These are the updated rosters, by the way.
With draft picks.
With draft picks. Shotgun for Burrow. They do an audible before the snap. Now they take the snap. Burrow throwing quickly, caught. Looks like T. Higgins, if I'm not mistaken. Caught for a short gain. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Get him off the field with just 3. Let's send the blitz at him. Let's send the blitz at him here, folks. Come on. A bunch formation out to the left, condensed to the offensive line. Takes the snap. Burrow's looking for a quick shot. He's got time. Now he throws to his check down. Chase Brown just barely picks up a 1st down. 1st down and goal for the Bengals.
Steelers couldn't get any pressure on that Bengals offensive line. Deshaun Elliott on the play. First and goal.
There we go. Shotgun. Burrow takes the snap. He's going to toss it to Chase Brown. Can they get to him? They do. Oh, he breaks a couple tackles. And who is that? I think that's Deshaun Elliott. Saved the play. And once again, Miles Killebrew is a starting safety for some reason. F. Coop in the chat.
I think he's the nickel. That's what it's got to be.
Isn't it Brandon Eccles? That's the nickel?
I don't know. It's not my fault.
Sure it is. You're in charge of the rosters. It's nobody else's fault but yours. That's the end of the first quarter. Still,
Jeremy's in charge.
Still 0-0. But the Bengals are knocking on the door here.
How rude.
And Joe Burrow has his X Factor activated. So that's going to be tough here. Make sure you guys, if you guys want in on a raffle to win this Steelers Talk hat, we're giving it away here in just a few minutes. $5 raffle tickets. $10 gets you 3 raffle tickets. $20 gets your name on the gong plus 10 tickets. And if you just want to buy a hat for yourself straight up, $50. Not only do you get the hat, but you get to see me get slapped in the face with a tortilla. So $50, we greatly appreciate you. 250 total today. We'll hit the gong. Appreciate your guys' support. All right, let's get back to it here in the second quarter. Under center is Burrow. One receiver, multiple tight ends. This looks like a run. No, they're going to pass it. Burrow's looking, throwing. Yard short of the end zone. It's caught by Gesicki.
Get a stop, fellas.
Let's get a stop. Come on. Everybody spam stop in the chat. Everybody spam shop in the chat. Let's go.
TJ Watt time.
Under center is Burrow. Will they run it? They will. He's taken down. Touchdown. Bengals just barely got in. Chase Brown gets the first score of the day as he plays the violin on the Steelers defense. Alex Highsmith got there, but he hesitated just a little bit, which allows Chase Brown to get in for 6.
This looks like the TJ Watt injured defense.
Yeah. I mean, what are we doing here?
What a joke.
Minka Fitzpatrick is yelling at TJ Watt, and TJ's telling the camera to get out of his face. So the extra point attempt is up, and it is good. 7-0 Bengals.
Let's see if Raji can bring him from behind.
I mean, right now we need a drive from Rodgers after a 3-and-out, and then that one. I mean, that drive for the Bengals took almost the entire first quarter. It was almost an entire quarter long. And now we'll see if Rodgers and the Steelers have a response. The kick is away. It is fielded at the 6 by Cordero Patterson, and he will take it. Not the best return. Gets it to the 27.
What are we doing, Cordero?
So here we go. Come on, Raji. By the way, he won't be wearing that helmet this season. His old helmet model got discontinued. It's not legal in the National Football League anymore, so you will see him wear a new helmet tomorrow. Shotgun here, trips formation out to the right. They're going to let Raji air it out. It's thrown, caught DK Metcalf. First down, Steelers. There we go. Move the chains, baby. The first connection between Metcalf and Rodgers of the season.
Remember when AB threw a fit about his helmet?
Yep. Remember when he came out there in like the most ridiculous like boxy helmet ever for the Raiders? I think they still make that helmet, by the way. It's under center. It's a wing formation. They hand it off to Caleb Johnson. There he goes for a nice 7-yard gain. You love to see the rookie out of Iowa move the football. Let's go. Let's go. By the way, Thursday will be a fun live stream. It'll be Sunday Night Football, Steelers versus Packers at Acrisure Stadium, Rodgers' first home game.
We'll have to cut Jaire.
Shotgun here for Rodgers. He will throw quickly on the slant. It is caught. And that is Robert Woods, Bobby Trees with a Steelers first down. Let's go.
Now they're moving, baby.
Taco Man says, how many middle linebackers do we normally have on the 53? 7 on the team. I thought 5 normally make the team. Somebody's going to be out. It could be 4 or 5. Could be 4 or 5. I think Mark Robinson might be on the outs, though. Shotgun here for Rodgers. He will hand it off. It is Warren. He's got some room. He breaks out tackle. He's still running, and he'll pick up 6.
Good drive.
Good run. Let's go. Keep it rolling. Second down and 4. Now in Bengal territory on their 36. Rodgers putting together a drive here. Trips formation. Takes the snap. They send blitz. He throws quick slant to Calvin Austin. Nice catch by Calvin. And another Steelers first down. Let's go. I like what I'm seeing from Raji on this drive here.
This drive's much better than the first one.
But I want to get the ball to DeCussy here. Come on. Here we go. They go empty again. 5 receivers out. Takes the snap. He's looking. He's got time in the pocket. Now he's forced to scramble, and he gets sacked.
Trey Hendrickson once again.
Trey Hendrickson with his second sack of the day. Second down and 19, and it likely takes the Steelers out of field goal range.
Trey Hendrickson might not even be a Bengal next season.
Yeah, he might be a Commander.
He could be. If he's not a Bengal, do you think Commander is the most likely destination?
Probably. Watch him go to like the Eagles or some shit.
Bro, if he went to the Eagles.
Again, guys, $5 raffle tickets, $10 donation gets you 3 raffle tickets, 20 gets you 10. We're giving away a Steelers Talk hat at the end of today's show. Limited edition. If you guys want one. And again, $50 just straight up purchases you one of these hats. Shotgun again here. Second down and 19. See if Rodgers can get the ball out. He's going to take a deep drop. Now nothing there. Now he's going to bomb it down the field to double coverage. Incomplete. That was an absolute... I mean, I think he threw it away. It was so far out of the end zone. Third down and 19 coming up. By the way, we're still about $200 away from hitting the gong, just so you guys know. About 190 away. They go pistol here on 3rd and 19. Rodgers has time. He's going to throw that quick release. It is dropped. It was a little late.
Catch the ball!
Couldn't get both feet in, and now the Steelers will likely have to punt. Less than 2 minutes to go in the first half.
Is Rodgers is having issues with his teammates already?
I mean, you saw that quick release right there, Coop. But,
they're kicking.
Oh, my goodness. Boswell attempting. what is this, 55 yards?
58.
58-yarder, it's up, and it's good! The great and powerful Boz from the logo. Caitlin Clarkson, good! Let's go! Go Steelers! There we go! There we go, Steelers! There we go! Let's go. All right, kick
Hello,
us away.
intern Jeremy.
No, so Boswell hit the kick from the logo, so I said Caitlin Clarked it.
I was like, Caitlin Clark, what are you doing?
So here we go. Good return for the Bengals. Gets all the way out to the 44-yard line. Burrow still with his X Factor activated. Throws quickly. Caught somehow. Good coverage by JPJ, but Jamar Chase with an impressive catch.
If Joey Porter caught that, that was going 6.
It was almost picked off by Joey Porter Jr. Couldn't get there quite in time. 2nd down and 4. Clock continues to tick. Shotgun for Burrow. Takes the snap. Got time. Throws quickly. Wide open. T. Higgins. 1st down Bengals. The thing about going up against a really good quarterback in Madden is that they almost never have an incomplete pass. So these Bengals games are going to be tough this year in this Madden Summer Series. Shotgun here for Burrow. Less than a minute to go in the half. He's looking quickly. It's complete short on the drag to Gesicki. Gain of 4, and the clock continues to tick as now Cincinnati will take a timeout. Score is 7-3. Remember, the Bengals get the ball at half. So if they get a touchdown here, that is very no bueno for the Steelers. Steelers either need to stop them to a field goal here and then stop them at the start of the second half, or they need to get 2 stops. Let's get 2 stops. How about that? Shotgun. Steelers showing pressure. Takes the snap. They only send 4. Quick throw in the seam. It's wide open. Caught Yoshivas. Gets to the 15-yard line. Clock will continue to tick. Let's see if Cincinnati calls another timeout.
What's going on with the Steelers defense in this game?
Burrow's got his X factor, and he's hitting the top of his drop, and he is throwing it every time to the right person. He's looking like Tom Brady out there.
Jermaine Pratt also cut today.
Jermaine Pratt was cut. Shotgun here for Burrow. Takes the snap. Got plenty of time. Now throws underneath. Caught by Yoshivas again for a gain of 8. Timeout Bengals with 18 seconds to go.
Are we going to get an incompletion?
I don't know, man. Has he even had one incompletion today?
Not that I
don't think. I think he's perfect. I think Joey Burrow is literally perfect in this game. So here we go. From the 7, clock down to 18 seconds. Burrow going to throw quickly on the drag. It's caught, 1st down, but doesn't get 1st down or doesn't get a touchdown. Clock continues to tick. Are they going to be idiots here and let it run out?
No.
Timeout with 4 seconds to go. Now here's a big decision from Zach Taylor. Do they go for it, or do they go for the field goal to make it a 7-point game with them getting the football coming out of the half?
Do you go for the jugular?
It's a big decision here for the Bengals. Beat the Bengals. We'll cook 'em and eat their stripes.
This is our team.
Go Steelers. They're going to go for the field goal. Pussies. Let's go. Kick is up and good. The Steelers avoid it. Steelers avoid giving up another touchdown. They give up the field goal. And now the defense needs to step up to start the second half. There will be a kick. Let's just not even show the kick. Never mind. Maybe there's a return here. Who knows? Here's the kick. It will be fielded. No, it goes out of the back of the end zone. So it's just going to be. Are they just going to go Hail Mary here? Does Rodgers have the arm to throw it 80 yards to the end zone? Jump throw. Intercepted. Touchdown Bengals. What? By the way, the guy that's not even on the team? What is this play by Rodgers? a jump throw to Pat Freiermuth. By the way, I think Jermaine Pratt stepped out of bounds. And then Jermaine Pratt, who's not even on the Bengals roster anymore, F. Coop in the chat, takes it all the way for a touchdown, and now the Bengals will be up 2 scores.
I did run this sim before he got cut.
17-3 Bengals. The Steelers are getting their asses handed to them because of Raji.
Was it the wrong signing?
It's not looking good right now. Rodgers' rust is certainly showing. Terrible interception, pick 6 with 2 seconds to go on the clock.
Why would they have just taken a knee?
I mean, what is this throw animation? And how does DK Metcalf not catch him? He caught Buda Baker when he was with the Seattle Seahawks. How could he not catch up to Jermaine Pratt? Everybody type boo in the chat. Boo! What a joke.
What a joke.
Now the Bengals get the fucking football to start the half. And a decent return gets to the 30. And now here comes Joe Burrow with his... I don't think he has an incompletion tonight. I mean, what is this? Steelers need a big stop. They need a big stop. Interception would be great. Burrow throws quickly, caught. And there he goes. Mike Gesicki outruns multiple Steelers defenders. He gets past midfield to the Steelers' 49, first down Bengals.
I mean, what is going on? That has to be tax.
I mean, what are we watching here, ladies and gentlemen? Shotgun Burrow, the unstoppable Burrow. I guess that X factor means he can't throw any incompletions. They go play action, no pressure on him at all. Throws down the field, a perfect dot to Yoshivas, I believe. First down Bengals. I mean, it's impossible to stop him. I mean, how does Yoshivas not just keep running with it? It would have been a touchdown. Steelers are lucky. First down and 10 for the Bengals now at the Steelers' 11. So, I mean, even if the Steelers stop them now, it's going to be 3 scores. Game over. Burrow throws quickly, caught. It's a gain of 5 from Yoshivas, who has been the number 1 receiver for the Bengals tonight.
Not T. Higgins. Not Jamar Chase.
T. Higgins, I don't even think has a catch.
Yoshivas.
It's been Yoshivas and Mike Gesicki that have been killing the Steelers. From the 6-yard line, the unstoppable Joe Burrow with his X factor takes a snap. Throws quickly, caught on the drag. There's Yoshivas, breaks 2 tacklers.
Is he the best player in the NFL?
I mean, what are we doing here? 3rd and 2 coming up. Steelers need a big stop. I mean, even if they stop them, though, they're going to go down 3 scores. Need like an interception here. You need something miraculous to happen here, Steelers Nation. Burrow takes the snap. He's looking. He's going to look to run it. Fumble it. Touchdown Bengals. Joe Burrow, no incompletions on the day, is dancing on you. What a joke this game is. By the way, clear holding on Peyton Wilson. Doesn't get called.
I mean, we already knew the refs walked to the stadium.
It is going to be 24-3.
Do we need to reevaluate Aaron Rodgers being the starting QB?
I don't think so. Just because 77 overall, I'm taking over Mason Rudolph, who's a 65, but...
What about Willie?
Willie's a 68, and he was bad too.
I don't think either of them have put up a performance this bad.
I don't know, man. Rodgers, the rust is definitely showing. People are already calling for Mason back in the Steel City. Especially because Mason just got you 2 straight wins.
Let's see what Raji does against the Green Bay Packers.
Because this game's pretty much already over. Steelers would need to go touchdown, stop, touchdown, stop, touchdown, stop, touchdown to tie it.
whom's this to say they won't?
I mean, maybe they will. We still got. I mean, they're going to have to be perfect from here on out. They're going to need a big turnover at some point, too. Under center is Rodgers. Quick drop, throws the slant. It is caught. Good throw from Rodgers to Bobby Trees. First down. Spam those trees.
By the way, Nick Chubb, 1 year, up to $5 million.
If he's anywhere close to where he was a couple seasons ago for Houston, that's a hell of a deal. Now the Steelers need to go make their signing. Bring in Amari Cooper. I formation, play action. Rodgers has some time, throws off his back foot. It is caught by DeCussy. Big first down, Steelers.
Great block by Jalen Warren.
There's the little wrist flick from Rodgers. You got to love that.
Can you do it again? Do you think he makes the sound?
Oh, he does. If you listen to him throw, he goes.
No way.
Every time. It's so good. So at least we have that nice little throw from Rodgers. 2 straight completions, 2 straight first downs for Pittsburgh. Pistol formation. Rodgers looking. He's got time. He's going to throw. Caught. Calvin Austin for a gain of around 7. Keep them rolling, Raji. Come on. Keep them rolling.
Let's move with some urgency here, Art. We're down 21.
And even if the Steelers score here, I'm not even sure if it's possible to stop Joe Burrow because he's got the X factor, which I think means it's like an automatic completion. Rodgers looking, quick throw, slant to Cussy, caught, down to the 14.
I will say, Raji is completing passes at a more efficient clip than both Howard and Mason did.
Yeah. Plus, he's got that throw animation where it's the quick release with the laser, which you want. Shotgun for Rodgers. 3 receiver set. Takes the snap. He's looking on the slant. Caught. Gain of 4. Looks like Bobby Trees again.
It was a little bit of a hospital ball there.
A little bit. Clock continues to tick. I'd love, Steelers aren't going to win this game, but if they want a chance, I think they got to score before the end of the quarter. I formation. Rodgers will hand it off to Jalen Warren, who will fight forward for a Steelers first down.
Bless you.
Bless you. Thank you. By the way, there's a now iconic photo. It's already iconic, Coop. There's an iconic photo making the rounds of Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf on a golf cart.
It's iconic.
Smiling together, taking a picture. Shotgun, Rodgers. He's looking. He's shifting in the pocket, and he's going to take a sack. Trey Hendrickson with his 3rd sack of the game. It'll be 2nd down and goal from the 11. That'll be the end of the third quarter. And the Steelers need to score 3 touchdowns to tie this football game. And if you've been watching our series with the 5-minute quarters, it's pretty much impossible to come back from it.
Should they go for 2?
No, that's not going to help them. They need a turnover. They need a pick 6 of their own to even have a shot, in my opinion. They need a fumble or they need some sort of turnover to even have a chance. Now Rodgers from the 11. Bunch formation out to the left. Single receiver, Woods to the right. Takes the snap. They send pressure. He throws. It is caught by DK Metcalf, and he gets stonewalled at the 2.
Got to get in the end zone here.
Rodgers is pumped about it. How about we get into the end zone, Raji?
Come on, Aaron.
Best drive of the day so far for Pittsburgh. See if they can get in. Got plenty of time now. He's going to look to run, and Rodgers, first Steelers touchdown as a rushing one for the 4-time NFL MVP. Touchdown Steelers. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. I mean, this game completely, dude, That pick six would have been big in a regular game, let alone a 5-minute quarter game.
Oh, yeah.
Like that
It broke their back.
That pick six really, really, really looms large. We got Trader Joey in the chat right now saying,
oh, look who it is.
and he says, way to cut the deficit, Rodgers. Good stuff, bro. Everybody spam F the Ravens in the chat.
F you, Joey.
F you, Joey. F you, Joey. The kick is away. Fumble it.
Joey, it's kind of sad. Don't you have some work to do?
Gets down to the 28.
Don't you think Joey has a VOD to film?
Probably.
And he's out here messing with our stream?
Once again, Joe Burrow with his X Factor. Handoff. Fumble it. Fumble it! Chase Brown gets 3.
We're so rent-free in Ravens fans' heads.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing new there.
They need TJ Watt to be hurt to beat us. That's what they need. They need TJ Watt to not, ruin Lamar Jackson's day in order to beat us. That's okay. Shotgun Burrow. 2nd down and 7. Need a big play from the Steelers defense to even have a chance. He throws wide open. Caught Jamar Chase. 1st down. I'm telling you, man, once that X Factor is activated,
it's over.
It's literally over. You can't stop it.
It's over.
Like, he knows every single time where to throw the football. Every time. And the computer on Madden just can't handle it.
So you're blaming Madden?
Yes. I mean, no matter how good of a hot streak a quarterback has, making it literally impossible to stop it, like, what are we doing? There's a pressure, and he throws it. And even when he's pressured, he's throwing completions. 6-yard gain for Chase Brown. I don't think he's had a single incompletion in this entire game.
I think he's maybe had one.
Maybe one. That has been it, because he has his stupid X Factor. 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, 1 back here. Around midfield are the Bengals, who are once again driving. He's going to hand it off to Chase Brown, who does not pick up the 1st down. If the Steelers get the Bengals off the field here, it's going to be because they run it. It's going to be because they run it. We are approaching the 2-minute warning. They have to get at least a playoff before the 2-minute warning here, though. Shotgun Burrow. This looks like a pass to me, which might spell doom for the Steelers. Takes the snap. Burrow, quick throw, caught, of course. 2-minute warning. 1st down, Bengals. Steelers lose. Steelers lose. Steelers lose. Steelers lose. Steelers lose.
Real ones know.
Real ones know. It's a handoff, and Jack Sawyer, rookie out of Ohio State, gets the TFL. 2nd down and 13, timeout Steelers. So Steelers are now forced to use their timeouts. They're going to have to go down, get a quick touchdown, get an onside kick, and then drive down for another touchdown just for a chance to tie. So this, if they do lose this game, and it definitely looks like they will go down to 3-3 heading into the Green Bay game, which we'll be doing on Thursday. Handoff to Chase Brown, taken down by TJ Watt, who has done nothing in this game, by the way, because Burrow throws it immediately. Timeout Steelers. I think Trader Joey is using our Bengals account right now.
That's weird.
Joey, you're not fooling anybody, man.
Joey, go film your VODs.
Shotgun Burrow, he's passing this. He throws. It is caught, but short of the sticks. I literally don't think TJ or Joe Burrow has had an incompletion. I literally don't think he's had one. Because he's had this X Factor activated since the first drive of the game.
It's an unfortunate circumstance for the Steelers, man. Rodgers' debut.
What I'm hoping for here, even if they don't win, give yourself a shot with an onside kick. Terrible punt here, or I think it's a terrible punt. Yeah, not a good punt at all by Cincinnati. The Steelers get the ball at the 23. Let Raji air it out a little bit here, man. Let Raji air it out a little bit here. Three receiver set. Rodgers from the shotgun. Everyone knows what's happening here. And he's shifting in the pocket. Now he throws. It's caught. Good play by Rodgers here to find Robert Woods under pressure. First down, Steelers. No timeouts. You got to go hurry up here. By the way, we are, this is kind of last call here, guys. We're going to be giving away a Steelers Talk hat at the end of the stream here. $5 to enter, $10 to get 3 raffle tickets, $20 to get 10 raffle tickets, and your name on the Steelers Talk gong. Rodgers throws a quick drag for 5 yards. Clock will continue to tick. Joey is asking how he can get a Steelers Talk hat. Can't get one. Shotgun Rodgers, he's looking. He's going to throw quick release. Beautiful throw. It is caught. Calvin Austin all the way down to the Bengals 25. So, hey, Rodgers and the Steelers didn't play their best game. But, and, you know, the pick six is definitely looming large. Right now, the Steelers would be driving to tie the game instead of, you know, already being down 2 touchdowns. But I think there's reason for hope, even though it looks like the Steelers are going to definitely lose this game.
Joey or Stone, you can get a Steelers Talk hat for $125.
Shotgun, and look at that throw from Rodgers.
And that's not a $125 Venmo to Sperry. That is to us for us to keep.
Yes.
And then we will give you one.
So Rodgers just dirts it. I think he was throwing it away. 24 seconds to go to try and get into the end zone. If they get a touchdown though here, it's gonna hurt that you threw that last second pick six. Rodgers still rolling, throws it out of bounds.
Don't take the open green grass in front of you, Rodgers.
Well, they don't have a timeout. He'd have to get out of bounds.
Should have.
Well, clearly, since he was getting hit as he threw, he couldn't get out of bounds. So good decision from Rodgers.
He ran forward.
Good decision. Well, if he ran forward, he would have been inbounds.
Yeah, he could have ran diagonal to the sideline.
No, he couldn't have done that.
Absolutely.
Shotgun, Rodgers looking. He's going to have to throw it down the field. Stepping up. Now he's going to throw to out of bounds on 3rd and 10.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell you either, man.
Just a dog performance.
Just a bad week, man. Just a bad week. Hopefully next week, Raji can get some revenge on Jordan Love and the Packers. Takes the snap, play action, throws quickly over the middle, and it falls incomplete. So even if the Steelers were just down 7, they would have lost this game. So Joe Burrow, who has a perfect 30 for 30 day or whatever his stat line looks like, will take a knee, and that will be it. 24-10, final score, Bengals win.
Bengals win.
And in the most humiliating loss of the Steelers season so far, and it comes in Aaron Rodgers' Steelers debut on Thursday Night Football.
Bengals win.
So tough Madden stream this week, guys, but I mean, at least this one proves to you that we just run the stream, and whatever the result is, the result is. We don't manipulate these in any way to make the Steelers win or anything like that, because the Bengals kicked the Steelers' ass in this one. So the next Madden stream will be Thursday. Our live show starts at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be Steelers versus Packers, Sunday Night Football at Acrisure Stadium, Rodgers' first game in Pittsburgh. So
the crowd ought to be hyped for that one.
Crowd will be hyped for that one. So Coop is currently getting the names together for the raffle. Oh, no. So Burrow must have had 1 incompletion. His completion percentage is 95.2.
Yeah. I don't even remember it.
It must have been on that first drive before the X Factor, because I don't know. Did he throw a pass away? That might have been his only one.
Maybe.
So Coop is getting the names for the raffle that we'll get to here momentarily.
Oh, yeah.
But tomorrow, make sure you guys are subscribed. We got still over 250 people watching, because tomorrow, it's the first day of Steelers practice for 4-time NFL MVP Aaron Rodgers. He'll be wearing a new helmet tomorrow. He'll be throwing to his new weapons. And even though it's football in shorts and you don't have pads on yet, it's gonna be a fun day tomorrow, man. It really is. He also talks with the media after practice, so we will have takeaways from practice and from that press conference for Aaron Rodgers tomorrow. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button. All right, here we go. Somebody's winning. a Steelers talk hat. Coop is currently shuffling.
All right.
Let's-
Godspeed.
Let's see who wins it.
Who's it going to be?
And mostly new names here. Let's see. And it is Robert Look. Robert, are you still here?
I think you probably have his contact info, right?
Yeah, I have.
He'll be here anyway.
Yeah, I have Robert's. I have his information. So Rob, email me. You want to put my email down in the L3 for a second here. Rob, feel free to email me your shipping address. We'll make sure to get you your Steelers Talk hat. And we will see you guys tomorrow. We'll see you guys on Thursday for the next live program. There's Robert Locke. Says, I am here.
Shout out.
He says he got caught up in the ads. So Coop is going to put my email. There it is. Sperry@chatsports.com. Just send me your email. I'm pretty sure, Rob, that you have other ways of getting in touch with me too. But if you want to just send me your shipping address via email, feel free to do that. And we'll make sure you get your Steelers Talk hat, my friend. Appreciate you. All right, that'll be it for today's show, guys. We'll be back with more coverage tomorrow and then more live coverage on Thursday starting at 5 p.m. Eastern. So from me, from producer Coop, we'll see you guys next time. And until then, here we go, Steelers.
Peace.